Prokill is a professional pest prevention company, and we're in the art of preventing pests, obviously. We're currently in our 9th year of trading, and we're well en route to becoming a household name, which is our overall target. I think it's generally recognised that people are any company's greatest asset, and I'm extremely proud of the employees that we have within Prokill. But managing and motivating a team of people from a distance is extremely difficult, which is why franchising really was the way forward for us. People invest, in many cases, what is their life savings into a business. They're very responsible for their own actions and very keen to go above and beyond the daily grind to make sure they get the job right. You know, they really have their backsides on the line.
From a personal point of view, you've got to be aware that running your own business, you've got to be comfortable doing that. So I think there's a lot of decisions to be made. You've got to have that right mindset to be able to do that. I think from the franchise point of view, you've got to look at a company that you've got to click with it. It's got to feel right for you. You've got to have an interest in it. But you've got to pick a company that has got the vision and you can see where they're going, because you're going to be working very closely with them. So I think from my point of view, there's a lot of decisions to make, but it had to feel right. And with a company that I was going to be working with for some time. So yeah, a lot to look at, and you've got to have that right mindset.
Being full members now of the British Franchise Association, it enables us to stand head and shoulders against any of our competition. And it also demonstrates the fact that it is a working model. I think the main differences between starting a franchise business and starting on your own is probably in the question, because you are on your own if you're starting out. There is no support network. There are no raft of qualifications that not only allow you to open doors but stop them getting closed in your face when you're out there in the business community. And of course there's a tremendous amount of support that you gain from being within a franchise network. We've been there, we've done it, and there are also now franchisees that are out there that are doing it and have been there and have done it. So it's a very important to have that support network.
There is no typical day, but yesterday, I'll talk you through yesterday, I mean, I've got a mixture of commercial clients, businesses, but also domestic clients. Domestic tends to be more sort of reactive. You get a phone call, help, I've got a mouse or a rat or a squirrel or whatever else. So you never really know when that's going to come along. The phone rings. But for example, yesterday I had a hotel which is on contract to us, and we pest prevention. So I turned up there and did a routine inspection. That took me about an hour and a half. And then I had a phone call from a landlady who had a mice in one of her properties. So I had to go around there and I did a survey on that, got that job. I think I then I had an ongoing squirrel problem in another house. I ended up going there. And then there's a pub. I had a routine inspection from an existing client. I think I ended the day with a phone call from somebody who had ants who'd come on a luggage from their holiday in the Caribbean. So I went around there and they had ants everywhere. So as an hour and a half of sorting out ants in their house, but did. So that's a real mix. If you were starting on your own, it would take a lot of time. You know, some of these accreditations, it takes years to get them. You have to have business experience, you have to prove, and case studies and things like that. It's very costly as well. It takes a lot of financing to do this sort of thing. And if you're setting up, there's a lot of costs at the beginning of setting out any business. And to have that as well could really hurt the business. So the fact that these accreditations are already paid for, they're already set up, they're proved, you've got that seal of approval, if you like. And again, it makes it a lot easier from a franchisee's point of view to know that you've got that straight away from day one, and you're out there and have the backing of the company with the accreditations.
I think there are a tremendous amount of risk starting any business, certainly less so with a franchise operation. I'm sure my technical manager will shoot me for this on the basis that he tells us it's all about technical knowledge. My sales manager will tell me it's all about sales ability. I think it's 1% technical knowledge and it's 1% sales ability. 98% of starting any business is down to attitude. As long as you've got the drive and the commitment to do so, then that's all that stands in the way between success and failure. The cost of buying a franchise is quite important. It's split into two parts. There's a franchise fee, which is £25,000, which is the technical know-how and the brand. And then there's approximately a £30,000 package, which is the training and the equipment you need to start your business.
I like the independence, and I say that, I know you're part of the franchise network, but it's still my business, and I still have to make the day-to-day decisions, and I like that. That was what got me into it. That's why I left employment, to make that decision, to say, I want to make this decision. I want to have that control over my finances. I want to have the control over my lifestyle and the work balance. It's a lot of work. I'm putting a lot of hours in, but I've got to do that at the beginning to build the business. So, it works for me basically from that point of view.
The support really is 24/7. We've got a back office system that's accessed through our web-based online system that gives you every single piece of paper, every single health and safety documentation, employment contracts, expense sheets, every tiny minutiae bit of paper that you need to run a business. We've also got a big support network, as in telephone contact and stock ordering. And again, we also do invoicing for all our franchisees for the first 60 days, which is a big part of anybody's business, and the credit control. It's a big step for anybody to get into a business. It's important that it's the right type of business that offers maybe a lifestyle change or something you actually enjoy. But most importantly is the business needs to be sustainable. It needs to be in a growing market. Certainly with pest control, it's never going to shrink. It is a growing market. EU legislation, climate change, refuse collections, the fact that we're introducing new pests into the UK every year certainly gives us a solid base on which to build on.
Do it in something you've got an interest in, a vested interest in the business. It's no good doing it in something you're not really interested in. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have experience in it, but have a vested interest in it. And I think go with a company that feels right. You're going to be working very closely with that franchisor for years. And it's got to feel right, it's got to click. And you've also got to have a good feeling that the brand is going somewhere and it's a brand that you're happy to put on your shirt or to put on the side of your van or whatever, but to shout about. And I think my advice would be, make it sure it feels right for you, make sure it's something you're interested in, and make sure that speak to the other members of the network, the guys that are already doing it, and make sure there's a good living to be made out of it, because that's what we're all in it for in the first, at the end of the day. So it's got to feel right.
If I had any final thoughts regarding our franchise operation, is the fact that we've been through adverse weather conditions in somewhat of an economic downturn. I eagerly await the first £1 million turnover for a franchise and hence the first £1 million franchise owner.
To be successful, I think you've got to have that discipline. You are working for yourself. You've got to get out of bed. You've got to make the decisions. You've got to think, I'm going to do this. You've got to drive it forward. No one else is going to do it. You've got to have the motivation. I mean, you've got to want, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm building up a business. It's to be profitable and I need to do that. So you've got to have that ability to knock on doors. You've got to be able to approach people. Essentially at the beginning, you're selling your services. Yes, people will come to you to buy, but you can't rely upon that. So you've got to have that determination, you've got to have that motivation, you've got to have good, clear goals, but discipline to get around to doing it. Because if you procrastinate and put it off and think, I'll do that tomorrow, no one else is going to do it. So I think that you've got to have that drive and want to achieve something. That's what's pushing me forward anyway, because I want to earn money, I want to live a good lifestyle, but I want to have a successful business. So there's only me that's going to do that.